Hi guys, welcome back to the Film School Chronicle. I am not your host. What's going on? Oh my... Who am I?
Okay.
You tell me.
This is Seth Griffiths-Kemp, one of the showrunners of Ain't It Fun, joined by Tayla Ring, the other showrunner of Ain't It Fun, a episodic comedy series, presented by Griffith Film School.
But who are you guys?
We are your usual hosts. I'm Bryce Quinn, this is my co-host Carmelo Keating, and today we'll be talking to Seth and Tayla about their show. So, hey guys, how's it going?
Dude,
What an intro, so much energy.
Dude, pretty good. Yeah. Can I just say, long time coming for me.
Yeah.
We're going to flash back all the way to October.
October last year.
October last year.
Yeah,
I was in a funny little course that everyone who's done it loves called directing and acting.
I was also there with you.
You were also there with me.
At the time, yeah.
And one morning, I came in and I was talking to Carmelo, because Carmelo has seen no movies.
No movies.
And I was like, holy shit, I would love to do a podcast talking about how little movies you've seen.
I know.
And just having just a fun little conversation. My problem is I have very low motivation. So I never got around to even getting a mic.
My problem is, because I know we had a production meeting.
You had great motivation.
No, yeah. And unfortunately, for both of us, because I'm not saying this can't happen, Seth. I'm saying it can. But unfortunately, that motivation that I used to have,
it's gone.
Was stolen.
Oh no. Yeah.
By Mr. Quinn.
Look. So it ended, and then we're going to flash forward a bit to March. And I get a little message from Bryce saying, hey man, can I pitch you something? And when Bryce tells you that he's going to pitch you something, you know it's going to be good. So I was like, yep. We got on like a Discord call. And Bryce was talking about this idea for a podcast about film students. And I was like, anything else? But no, you had such, you did have genuinely such passion. And like, it was like the more I thought about it, the more it was like, we don't have anything like this in Brisbane. No. We didn't have anything like this in Australia, period. So I was like, yeah, I'm all for that. And Bryce asked if I could make him some logos. And those logos that you're seeing,
the logo that you've been seeing for 15 weeks
was made by me.
Made by Seth. And I've just realized I never credited you for that, so I'm really sorry. This is the credit. Oh my god.
That's all good. I've been waiting for an opportunity to come on because I haven't done anything significant enough to like warrant an episode, but
I disagree, but we're here now.
Yeah.
We're here now.
So,
with Tayla Ring.
And if you can't tell by now, audience, this might be a slightly longer one than usual.
So look forward
strap in.
So strap in,
get some popcorn.
And let's get into it. Carmelo, you want to start?
That was a great intro. Like that was segment 1. Really good lead in.
We love the little spiels.
Yeah.
We love the anecdotes.
We're gonna get into it right now. So guys, Ain't It Fun is something that we've known about for ages, months. Because months ago.
Excuse my language. Fucking ages.
Fucking ages. Months ago, before episodic content began, we knew that it was coming up, and so a bunch of us met in a room to pitch each other ideas that we had. I think everyone in this room pitched something different.
Yeah. We have someone behind the camera.
Oh yeah, behind the camera. Harry Shepherd. Oh my god,
that's it. Is that how to focus?
Harry's been on the show before. I interviewed him about his.
And it's obviously the best episode by far.
All right, yeah,
absolutely.
His feature film, Secrets to a Swaying Band.
Secrets to a Swaying Band. Watch that episode too.
Yeah.
Yes, but months ago, we all pitched each other, our project ideas and stuff for episodic content, yada yada yada. Stuff changed, like the university released what the course was meant to be, what the assessment plan was, and so everyone's pitches had to change, except Ain't It Fun.
Yeah,
literally everyone's pitches changed. And I'm so glad.
I don't know. I just think that I have some kind of weird third eye that just knew.
Psychic.
I just knew. Yeah.
Well, it was brilliant.
Tapped into the waves of the universe.
Yeah. When you pitched, an 11-page script, which was amazing.
And we sat there and read it that day because it was the only script that anyone had thought to make. So I was like, no one's gonna make a script. I won't do a script. How wrong I was to not pitch with a script as well.
Yep. And so now that we've actually seen the project, some of the lucky few that have. I'm so excited that we're finally able to talk about it, but I'm actually talking so much. So, tell us what you can about Ain't It Fun, this project that you've been working so hard on for the last few months.
Well, Ain't It Fun started when I was sitting around early this year, and we all know what happened last year.
What happened last year?
COVID.
Yes.
Oh, ooh.
I know, really gross. Excuse my language for saying the word COVID. I think that one should be.
You gotta censor that out.
Yeah,
Okay,
censor
we
that
got
one
Can we get a little bleep in there?
But I think all of us definitely felt like last year had a lot of wasted potential, and I sat there thinking, I need to do something. I'm here doing this course, but I don't feel like I've really gotten as much out of it as I think I should be. So I came to Seth and I basically just told him all that and asked if he wanted to do something with me. And from there I just started thinking what I could write, and it didn't take me long which was surprising, because usually, we all know how hard coming up with ideas can be. But I think something just clicked and I was like, why am I trying to think of all these stories? I had heaps of ideas and I was like, none of them are really connecting with me. So I was like, why am I trying to write something that isn't like easy? Like it should come easy. And that's kind of where Ain't It Fun came from. I just thought I need to stop trying to be someone I'm not and just embrace this story that feels very true to me.
Yeah,
Yeah, wow.
the brilliance of the pitch for this, when Tayla told me, it kind of just came off as a bunch of anecdotes and personal grievances, which I was like, what? How is this a story?
Yeah.
But then it clicked that, oh, you're not pitching me a story, you're pitching me a character.
Right.
And that's probably why the whole series has like survived through all these like changes to like episodic content, was because it's about a character and it's an adaptable story. We don't need to worry about the narrative, because if the character's strong enough, you can put it in any situation. It was like, for me, at the start of this year, having such creative block, writer's block, hearing that idea was like, something's like clicked. And yeah, it's just evolved from that.
And it's clear too, because I know exactly who you're talking about. It's the main character of Dylan.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a very, very clear character concept, and it's very well executed through the show. And I can just know, like you talking about that, the collection of anecdotes and like the kind of weird pitch would have just been about the character of Dylan and bringing that to life, I guess, in a script and then to a screen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been so fun to just write her and write all the side characters. It's like something that characters that we've all like fallen in love with, and the beauty of it, it's like it's such a grounded character and everyone can find something that they like relate to in Dylan, in the other characters that we'll maybe mention later on.
No, definitely. No, I completely agree. It felt very, finally getting to see it, felt very relatable in so many ways that I wasn't like sure, like based off the initial pitch, how I thought it would be, and it just felt very personal, and Dylan and the characters, they just felt really real. And I suppose that's because it's come from such a real sort of personal place.
That was something that was very important to me, was telling a story that was real. I think because I was sitting around and I was like, man, movies suck. Movies and film actually suck, because nothing is real. Like you find these, like you see so many characters and they are relatable, and but like nothing feels like it has gotten me yet. It has wrapped me up in a little ball, and I can look at that character and I can go, that is me. Or what they do is what I do. Because every character has to go on this great big journey, and I like don't think Dylan's journey is very big. It's very small, but to her it's very big. And I think that was very important to me, was finding that character that I think not only I can relate to, but like people my age can relate to. And that's something that I'm actually really excited about. Everyone at in our cohort being able to tell stories that feel true to us as like young 20-year-olds in this era, because the stories that we're watching now, like, they're people that are they're in the industry, they're older, because that's how they've like obviously, like, there's not going to be a young 20-year-old out there making a feature film that everyone gets to see. So they do feel relatable, but they don't hit the nail on the head.
You know, I think our film definitely does that, is as a grotesque monster hunted down and brutally murdered.
Yeah.
Definitely really feel that emotionally.
Yeah.
Oh, that was sarcasm. That took me so long. That took me a while.
Sorry, that was a long one. But no, I totally see what you're saying, Taylor. It is a really good point. It's interesting to hear that is kind of why you made it, or one of the motivations of, like, you finally feel like it's a character you can empathize with, and you got to make it. You got to like be a big part of bringing that to life. So that's kudos to you. That's really cool. We just made a monster film. So that's
but
really
even
awesome.
that's fun.
It is very fun.
fun.
Yeah. But I think to I guess talking on that point, jump into the production stuff. So you guys are the showrunners of Ain't It Fun?
Showrunner is a very wacky, very interesting title.
It's a very interesting title
in a film school.
Yeah.
I think we're like the first people in a decade to have that. I think Griffith, we're Griffith students.
Yeah.
I think Griffith did an episodic content thing ages ago, and then they dropped it, and now they're bringing it back. So with this new iteration of like episodic content, I think we're the first people to have showrunner title.
Yeah.
It's a very wacky title to have.
Yeah.
And you're the showrunners of an episodic series with 6 episodes,
Yeah.
Each 3 minutes long, roughly.
Yeah.
After a lot of script cutting and.
Man.
So we'll jump into that
man.
maybe in a second.
Yeah.
But and you were I guess leading a team of 6 directors, 3 DOPs, and 6 writers.
Around 6-7 writers.
Yeah.
And how many additional crew?
And
A lot.
do you have the total number of crew?
I think we had about 40 people.
40
Yeah,
people?
give or take 40.
Yeah.
And cast as well was
Cast was free
3 total.
Three.
total.
I couldn't remember if I was
A lot
missing
of-
any.
a lot
and
of
a lot of
extras.
extras. Yeah.
A lot of extras.
A lot of friendly faces for us.
Yeah.
Watching interesting, a lot of
Yeah.
interesting cameos.
Yeah, for sure. And so that's the big bird's eye view, I guess, of the project. Any notes on that? Any notes on this massive behemoth of production that you guys got to be,
It was-
like lead?
So hard. It was so hard to do. To be like those like 2 people that everyone comes to, like if there is a question that needs to be answered.
Especially
like,
a creative
Yeah,
question.
especially a creative question. It's like Seth or Tayla. Like that's who we'll ask.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a lot of pressure. But like everyone was so amazing.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
The passion like for this story was just so clear from the first week, which was I was dreading coming in the first day. I was like, I'm not feeling this. Like knowing that I had to talk to like all these people and be producers, directors, writers, figure that all out. I was like, no. But going into that first lesson, that first workshop, and hearing people like we just kind of opened up like asking like what was the appeal of like this over the other 2 anthology series, why this, and just hearing people's passion for these stories was like, we've got an incredible crew, and we sorted this all out, you know. It was a interesting process. That first week was incredibly scary because the moment that we got producers, it was like, here's all the paperwork that we have to do. Here's all the crew members that we have to fill.
I can't relate. Bryce, what's that like?
Oh, it was something. Yeah. So I got to talk to a lot of those producers in our producer workshop, and I think
they probably hated us.
They did not. They did not. They definitely were exhausted walking in,
yeah.
and a lot. Yeah. So there was I want to say 6 producers, right?
Yeah.
And they would come into the meetings and stuff, and they'd be like, because there would be these massive changes constantly like evolving throughout the production, like pre-production, leading up to the shoot, and then during the shoot I heard there was more of that, like, ongoing changes to try and get it to happen, make it work and be on screen to watch.
We were fortunate enough to work in a writer's room,
Yeah.
where we got to bounce ideas off all the writers working on the series. And that first writer's room session that we had Simon, who's a scriptwriting teacher at Griffith, come up to us and be like, you guys need to change everything. That was the most daunting thing to hear. I'm glad he did say it, because where the show went from that point was like, I'm so happy, and I don't understand how we kind of didn't think about it in the first place.
Yeah, I mean,
But just hearing that as in really blunt delivery of like, this is wrong, you need to do this, need to adjust this, take this out.
Yeah.
in such that manner was like.
It was really hard.
And I guess the big question after that, sorry Taylor, I'll let you get back to that, but are you happy with the overall story direction of where it went? Because I know it was amazing to watch. We love the story.
Yeah.
And are you guys happy with that?
I'm so
where
happy.
it ended up.
I'm so happy. On the Friday after our screening, you came up to me and you said that you took something away. You found a message in that, and that was like that meant a lot to me. It was like, wow, I'm glad that you're like finding like these little themes and things like things that you can take away from it. Yeah, just hearing everyone's like reactions to that being like finding like the relatability in those situations and like feeling like they were represented in a landscape where maybe people like that kind of aren't represented, like meant so much to me, because that was like kind of stuff that we were trying to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 1,000%. I still
Yeah.
totally echo that.
Being super
Yeah.
vague about everything as
Oh,
well.
I know. Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
Is there any way that we can maybe touch on a general overview of what the series is about?
Definitely.
I think
Do you
just
wanna-
quickly,
yeah.
I want to jump back to what Taylor was about to
Oh
say.
yeah,
Sorry.
what I was going to say was that writer's room situation, and just kind of it in general, like handing over your idea to a group of so many people, like this idea that meant so much to you, kind of having to not give it up. I definitely didn't give it up, but just go, whatever happens to it now is probably like it's gonna be for the best, but it's still so hard to be like, this is an idea that I spent, and like right before that writer's room, we'd already spent like a couple of months on this idea.
Yeah, since January. It's
Yeah.
been 6 months.
Whoa!
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
And then having to like kind of just give control to other people was really difficult. Like, I'm glad that like I have experienced that.
Yeah.
Because I think that's really important to understand that like once you have an idea, I think especially as a writer, like once you give that to someone else, part of that is not in your control anymore.
To a lesser extent, I think Carmelo and I can empathise with that, because
Well, yeah.
we came up with the idea and gave it to our writer.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
turned it into a
I
script.
was going to talk about that because like it is a very different parallel, because
Oh, yeah.
you do have the idea and then you give it to someone and suddenly it's no longer just your idea.
No.
Then it becomes a group idea, and that is
Yeah.
a very good thing because everyone gets to have their creative input in it. But also when you're telling a personal story,
Yeah.
that's got to be much more difficult. You know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I mean, I think what was quite good is that Dylan to me is like, I would say where she is in the first episode was where I was at the time, and everything that I was writing was kind of hypothetical. Still true to how I felt, but like just hypotheticals. So it came from a place of like genuine feeling and like this
And a
is
very personal place.
and a very personal place, but like it became just kind of like, now I'm telling someone else's story.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like removing yourself from that.
Yeah.
Learning that to separate character from like person.
Yeah.
The thing that I loved from like working with just a group of writers was like people would bring things that I'd never even considered, and they would be like genius. I remember printing off one of the scripts. It was the script for episode 5, and I read the first line of that, and I just broke down laughing. Because it's
You
like,
told
it
me
wasn't
that,
even,
actually, yeah.
It wasn't.
Oh, wait, no, yes.
It wouldn't be funny to anyone else, but it was the funniest. Excuse my language. Shit for me. It was like, it was so funny for like personal reasons. I just like, I literally had to close my laptop. Be like, fuck.
No, I was sitting in the cinema when we were watching that episode 5, and like
Yeah.
I got the reference.
Yeah.
But also I was trying to remember where else I'd heard it, and I forgot we had that conversation
Yeah.
about it already. No, that is funny.
It was
That
great.
Yeah. Mm.
Should we give a brief overview?
Yes.
Of this
Yeah.
Yes.
vague. What would you?
Yeah.
How would you describe it?
20 minutes into the podcast, let's hear the synopsis.
20 minutes into a usually 20-minute podcast.
Yes.
We're going off the rails, baby.
We've hit it now. I'm like, yeah, nah, this will go over. Let's
Okay.
go. I'm in.
So it's a story is about Dylan. She's this 20-year-old girl who hasn't really, like, she feels like she hasn't really done much with her life. She has a lot of pressure that she's putting on herself to be.
Keep going.
Sorry, audio listeners. That was just Seth goofing. Anyway.
She's put a lot of pressure on herself to kind of be someone she's not in a way. And the story is basically about her going on this journey, meeting this guy who she thinks is gonna save her life. I don't know. And then she, without any spoilers, stuff happens, and she learns a couple of things along the way.
That was the best, like, non-spoiler synopsis
So
could have given.
So good. So good.
Oh, no, that was great. I wanted to go back to where we're talking about the personal stories and the handing over thing. Yes, with that, the telling the personal stories part. Because, you know, like, obviously we made a film, and then we handed it off to a writer, and then it became a open creative process and stuff like that. But that was easier because we were telling this narrative. You know, that was cool, but it was much easier to just hand it off and have someone. Yeah. So I suppose, Taylor, could you give any advice to, like, first years or anyone in film school, or anyone who's writing, anyone who's in film? Because I think that is a very scary thing, and perhaps why people might turn away from wanting to tell personal stories is because they're worried that it's going to change.
I would say find the right people to share those stories with. You want people to be able to understand what you're saying. Like, and if you do, like, give a story that you wrote that's really personal to someone and they don't get it, don't feel bad about that, because some people just don't have the same experience that you do, and there's nothing wrong with them not understanding that. I think it's just about finding your people. Also, like, if you're submitting, like, a script that you're writing for, like, an assignment, and you're worried about what the teacher's going to think, they do care, but, like, they're not going to, you know, if they give you some advice and say, hey, look, let's change this, it's not like a dig at you or your experience, it's just what they think will be best for the story. And it is, like, it is very much about using your experience, but don't put that pressure on it to be like, oh, this has to be exactly how I feel, and it has to be this certain way. If someone, like, goes, because then you'll be like, if someone tells you, like, how Simon told us, like, look, we need to change this, it's gonna suck a bit, because you don't want someone to come up to you with your story that you've put all your heart into and go, I don't like this.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. It's just about recognizing that, like, there is a disconnect between the real emotions and what you're writing, and, like, use it to feel the story, but don't take any offense to what you're writing on paper to how those real feelings are. Which is kind of really hard to disconnect those two. Yeah. I think it comes with practice, but I think it's also very much, like, very important that, like, if you are worried about that, find the right people to share it with, because they're going to be able to understand you, and they're going to be able to give it in a very, like, that feedback in a very compassionate way.
Yeah. Oh, that's really good. Thank you for that. For personally, as wanting to go into writing more personal stories and not having done or gone through any of that yet, and hopefully the listeners got something out of that. But as well as being showrunners on Ain't It Fun, you both directed an episode each.
Very
interesting. Very interesting. So
I didn't know you directed an episode. I'm so sorry. I missed that entirely.
You did the first episode.
Yeah.
Because it was
Congrats,
first.
that's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah. So it was Tayla first, Seth last.
Yeah.
Yes. So what was it like starting and ending the story, and also directing and show running and all of these things?
And that would have been your
scary.
directing debut, right? Like, your first time directing.
It was terrifying.
Wow.
It was terrifying because I have not, like, I had no experience whatsoever. Like, every other director was lucky enough to have done, like, a course to give them some kind of, like, foundation.
Right.
So I just...
the best course the Griffith offers.
So I was like, I felt so underprepared compared to everyone else, and I had to go first. I was like, it was terrifying. I was really hoping that I didn't have to go first, because then I could just watch someone else do it, and maybe, like, I could just took
some
down
notes.
some notes,
Yeah.
like figure it out. But everyone was like, no, Tayla, you have to do it first. Like, this is your idea, you know, you got to set the tone. And I'm just like, okay.
Let's
okay.
not discount the fact that you really want to see the first episode. The first episode, like you.
The
No,
story, like the script.
yeah.
of the first
I
episode.
You
did,
loved that
yeah.
you wrote
I
the
wanted to
first
do
episode.
the first episode.
And like,
Um,
doing the first episode is like setting the tone.
Yeah.
And everyone else has to.
Yeah.
Sorry, if this might be a little bit confusing. You guys shot the episodes out of order.
Yeah.
So it was,
Yes, we did.
Episode 1 ended up being the first that you shot, and then
Yeah.
the one after that was what?
was my episode 6.
Which is episode
Yeah.
6. So yeah.
Thing that kind of to segue, directing is so much easier when you have incredible people that you're working with. So Taylor and I both worked with Remy.
Yeah.
He was our DOP.
He's been on the show before as well.
He has been on the show. Film School Chronicle alumni.
Yep.
Golden
Media.
Golden
yeah.
Media, that's it.
Plug.
For me, that was ridiculous because I'd been friends with him since trimester 1, and we'd never worked on anything together.
Trimester
Never.
1, year 1.
Year 1,
Yeah.
trimester 1, never worked with him on anything. That was our first time working on anything together.
Right.
But just figuring out how we want to shoot our episodes was just like
Yeah.
s-
No, that definitely made
psychic waves,
yeah,
you know?
that made it so much easier. Having
yeah.
that team that
Yeah.
understands like what you want.
Being on the same
Yeah.
page with everything, like he would say something and I'd be like, are you in my head right now? And I was like, literally the same way that we were like thinking about it. If you have like a good DP, then you don't need to worry about like anything visually.
Yeah.
And if you have good actors, you don't have to worry about getting the right emotions because they already know how to do that. And
Yeah.
our actors were phenomenal. We that casting process.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
From this side, also, we also think they're phenomenal.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I hope they listen and they
Yeah,
hear the praise.
That's
yeah.
funny you should say about like working with Remy because I
Yeah.
got the opportunity to work with him for the first time at the start of the year as an actor.
Yeah.
For him with one of the stars.
And he was
of-
directing. Yeah.
And he was directing. Yeah. And with one of the stars of the show. Could we take a minute to talk about the actors? Promote them a little bit.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we have 3 primary cast members.
Yeah.
We have Dylan, who's played by Nof Barras. Is that her last name?
That's the last.
Olivia, the kind of best friend, supporting character, played by Megan. Forgot her last name.
Megan.
Megan,
Hey,
she-
Seth,
I
when
think
you said you were going to take notes for this podcast.
I did say that, but I did. We'll
It's
just
difficult
go.
because she has like a
pretend we
different
didn't say-
name on Facebook, so
Yeah.
I've just been looking at her name.
Pretend we didn't say the last name, so we got
Yeah.
Dylan portrayed by Nof, Olivia portrayed by Megan, and Tyler portrayed by Jordan. That casting process was absolutely, it was a lot. We had 200 people go over to our emails and express interest.
Actually, yeah, we've got a man on the side. Can you get their last names for us?
Trandis, I believe, is
Trandis.
Megan's last name.
Trendus.
So
and,
Megan-
I think that's how you say
and
it.
Jordan's is
Stop.
What?
Stop.
Stott?
Jordan
Stop.
Scott.
Jordan, stop. There we
Stott?
go.
Okay, sure.
Plug complete.
We had
Let's move on.
so we had 200 people express interest. We narrowed down that 200 to 28 people that we saw,
Yep.
and we narrowed down to 28 people to 2 for each characters, 2 shortlists.
Right.
And that was like so many people came in, read the scripts incredibly, but only like very few people were like, this is the character. And from that, because they were so neck and neck, like those last 2, it was like, okay, let's do chemistry reads, let's see how they interact with each other, and then that's how we figured out.
Whoa.
It was a fun, scary process.
Yeah.
We
but-
ran 4 auditions total.
And I loved all of it,
They were
right?
great,
No,
they
I
were
love
great, yeah.
auditioning. So like, the
Yeah.
fact
So
that you got to do-
how was your audition process?
That's a great question, Seth.
This
Tell
is
me
not-
about
How was your audition process?
Peak the merch, you know? How
I heard there was someone that came in.
Oh, hold on, shit. I just got what you were getting at. little tidbit for the listeners. The lead actor of The Hunter's Knell, the project that Bryce and I have been working on all semester, is our very own Seth Griffiths-Kemp right here, who gave an incredible audition.
Really?
So
Really
if anyone's thinking, they cast their friend. No, we did.
I went in
but
with-
no, but
I heard that you guys were looking for an actor to portray the monster in like when we're doing some like location scouting.
Yeah.
And I went up to Ethan, who was the writer of yours, and I was like, yeah, I'd do it. Yeah. I gave him like a bit of like a thing, and I told you guys, and you were like, oh no, absolutely. So you were lucky enough to get me an audition for that, and I went into that audition with you're all like really close friends. We've been through thick and thin, but it was like I'm gonna remove myself from that. You guys are professionals. This is what I can bring to this role, and you guys were mildly impressed with what I did.
So we ran the auditions. You know, I'm sure you did the same as fake Hollywood-esque as professional as you kind of can. So I don't think we let anything on at the time.
Yeah. Audition process as a producer was real weird because he's sitting there straight faced giving the directions that the director does to the casting. I'm sitting there with my computer. I'm just doing paperwork and I'm just trying to keep a straight face while Seth is being a crazy monster. And I was like, I guess this is what I'm supposed to do. I've got no idea what I'm doing. And I was like, is that right? And Carmen was like, yeah, that's perfect. I'm like, okay, I'll keep doing
You
paperwork.
sort of just needed to be there.
Yeah.
Do the paperworking shit and stuff. Pardon me. At the end.
Anyway, that's the casting stuff.
But
And you had 200 applicants at the start, and you had to work all the way down to a total of 3 for each cast, for each casted role. And I'd say a part of that was because should we talk about the money thing?
What money thing?
The money thing that we're
money exists. It's a weird concept. That's all. Yeah. Anyway.
Capitalism is whack. Anyway,
but they're all incredible people to work with. They just brought so much creative energy and drive. They really fell in love with the characters as much as we did.
Yep.
So it was super easy just being okay, here's where we're going to take the scene. Are you guys comfortable with that? What do you want to bring to it?
Yeah, great.
And all the directors that we had on our episodes, we'll shout them out real quick. We had
here we go. Yeah. Names again.
We had Tayla, episode 1. I'm not going to bother with my last names. We had Michael for episode 2, Maya for episode 3, Talia for episode 4, Julian for episode 5, and I don't know who did episode 6.
Neither do I. But the listeners might recognize a few names on there.
Yeah, some of them are GFS alumni, but not GFS alumni.
Film School Chronicle alumni.
Film School alumni.
Anya and Talia.
Yeah.
And Julian.
And Julian.
Yeah, and they had their own collaborative people. They had their own DOPs. Remy didn't go across the whole series. So we had Anya, Film School Chronicle.
So she DOP'd and directed an episode.
No.
She did. She DOP'd 4 and 5.
Oh, sorry, I missed the name.
DOP 4.
Did I miss the name there? Sorry.
Anya DOP'd.
Anya DOP'd only.
Yeah. She didn't direct.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
she worked with Talia and Julian.
Yep.
And just all the stuff that she brought was ridiculous. There is a shot in episode 4.
It's amazing.
How about I just say keep your eye out for it because you'll know it when you see it.
It's very cool, and she was eager to share how she did it to the world.
Yeah.
So if you go to her Instagram, you can see how. If you want to spoil
it's
yourself,
awesome.
if you've seen it, you probably know what it is. It involves a cop.
And it's fantastic. We had no idea it was coming. And we were blown away.
What?
Yeah, no, I don't think I think I was actually speaking in the cinema, taboo, but I was like, how?
It's ridiculous. Watching them all work, watching all the directors and all the DOPs bring their own personal flares to the episode was ridiculous. It was so cool, just to see how they approached a script and how they adapted it to something, kind of their own. I feel like I can watch those episodes and be like, yeah, Talia directed that one. Yeah, Julian did that one. Maya did that. Michael. Yeah, they all have such personal flares to them.
Yeah, no, so you're right. The styles do feel different. It's there's definitely been a different director, but it was all so cohesive as well.
Yeah,
at the
we
same
spent
time.
a lot of time just talking about how we were going to make it cohesive and together. So shout out to all the directors and the DOPs.
We got a problem over there, Harry?
Doing that.
I think the camera just stopped.
It has a 30-minute timer.
Oh no!
Oh what?
Has it chimed back in?
Well, I
Sorry,
put it back
listeners.
on now. Yeah. Let's do another sync clap.
Yep.
Sorry.
We've never recorded an episode this long, so stick with us.
We're going off the rails.
Yeah, we're going off the rails today. We may lose 4 minutes of video, but that's okay. We'll make it work. Fine. Sorry, Jakob.
I listen to the podcast on Spotify, as everyone should.
Yeah.
As God
unless
intended.
you want to watch me look into the camera.
Yeah.
Right now.
With Girl from the Ring hair vibes.
Like Dylan does in Ain't It Fun. She does full bridge.
Alright, enough of the spoilers.
Yeah.
I don't know if have we got any other points we'd like to touch on?
There's one thing I really want to talk about. One last thing, just with character before we get to our ending segment stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had stuff that I want to touch on with you guys.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
For sure. Yeah. Okay, so you did something really, really cool with building your characters, though, and I think it's...
I know you're getting that.
Yeah, we need to. Okay, you made playlists
Yes.
for the characters to
Yes.
help the actors and everyone involved in the project understand them, get in the right mindset, and
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
You made the playlist before we even finished the script.
It was,
Yeah.
it was a part of the
Yeah.
pitch that you hit us with in February.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I think one of the coolest way to communicate with people is through music. So I thought, what kind of music would Dylan listen to? So I just made a playlist, and then I made one for Olivia, and then Seth made one for Tyler.
Yeah, and we made one for characters that don't show up in the series.
Yeah. Yeah, we had one for characters that got cut, unfortunately.
Can we talk about those? Have you got
You had
future
characters
plans?
that got cut? Not yet. Not future plans. Not yet. No, don't say it like that.
It's like an if
Okay,
you know,
sorry.
you know. If you're at the pitch, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
You would, I don't know.
I'm going to refresh this later.
But yeah, I think this series is so heavily rooted in like music. Like we had a lot of local bands. We reached out to them and got a lot of music from them that like kind of created the soundtrack for the series, and it really helps give it like such a generational like flair, and really like roots it in like the feeling of like people our age, people are like in their 20s, and like music played such an important part of the series, and it's such a cool way to help make characters.
Yeah.
You can really get a sense of like who these people are just by like the songs that they listen to. Yeah, it's really helpful.
All right, lightning round. What was your note, Seth?
My note. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna like steal. I'm gonna be host for a bit. So
Go for it.
Carmelo and Bryce, you guys worked on The Hunter's Knell, right? And that was a 3-minute short horror film based in the horror anthology series for Griffith. I was curious to learn about the kind of. I felt like for Ain't It Fun, our series, our crew, really just turned into like a family, and we were all like really just kind of like supporting each other, had each other's backs. But because all the horror anthology episodes were so creative driven, singular creative driven, I was curious to see if you guys felt like there was like a rivalry between series, or if it was kind of if it did feel more like reach out and support each other.
I'm so glad this is
Okay.
the end
Yeah,
of the podcast.
yeah, yeah.
So no one's going to get this far. So I'll just say, I hate it. No,
No, it's like no. That's a very good question. I'll say this. Initially, I was really disappointed. So when they said we were doing anthologies, right? So yours was the serial.
Yeah.
There was a mask anthology. There was a horror anthology. I thought, okay, anthologies, loosely connected, but connected nonetheless.
Yeah.
It was a missed opportunity to have the course not like have a writer's room at the start
Yeah.
and have all of our horror films with different stories. They should have been loosely connected. In the
Because
same
they
universe.
definitely weren't, and it felt more like just making short films.
Yeah.
And that kind of blows.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like I feel kind of disappointed because we had such an amazing opportunity
Yeah.
to work through our series with a massive crew that I think the other series
Yeah.
kind of got a bit like
Yeah, like the short end of the stick.
yeah.
Because it
No,
was
yeah.
kind of like you created your crew for that episode.
Yeah.
And that was it.
And we shared crews with other productions.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
obviously we needed to. So our crew was mainly shared with Midnight,
Yeah.
another production that everyone should check out when it launches. But, so there was cohesion there. But otherwise it was sort of like saying, hey, what are the other groups doing? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. See you when the film finishes.
We felt very distant from, so there were 6 of them, that we felt distant from 4 of them. We were most closely, like, I guess, to speak to our personal experience, we
Yeah.
knew the most about Midnight, and we had a lot of close friends on Midnight. That was where the rivalry came in.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
So that's
intensely.
the- yeah.
It was like, I'm not buying your t-shirt, you can get my crew t-shirt, I'm gonna get yours.
I have both.
Get the crew t-shirt. Is it on anywhere?
No, those are
Should we
exclusive.
start to- we should-
been on the
We
series.
should mass produce them now. Merch. Anyway,
Merch it.
yeah. But there was a rivalry there, but we also worked on that production. So,
Yeah, healthy rivalry, we love all
Yeah,
people
yeah,
on those crew,
yeah.
on that crew and everything.
As for everyone else's, like, it was, we got the initial ideas, we heard some things in the meetings, but like in the group meetings at the start, but there was such a long time where we didn't know what was happening, so I was really, really glad that we finally got to see him at the end.
Yeah.
It was,
I was
we went in blind to a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no idea what was going on.
And they were great.
And what I'd like to do now, obviously, like this isn't to do with Ain't It Fun at all, but I've been thinking about doing a similar thing with this, of just having a round table podcast with the horror guys, and I've talked to Hayden about that, one of the other directors for horror. He was keen on doing that, I think.
Yeah.
And then the same thing for possibly The Mask as well, if anyone's
Yeah.
interested in that.
So we're promoting that now because Well, no, that's
It's 40
happening.
minutes
No,
in,
no,
no one's
I'm
listening.
saying.
I'm just talking into the void.
For
now.
anyone who is still listening and still been enjoying this, we want to do a round table with,
Absolutely.
Ain't it fun? Yes.
Because there's only so
really
much that
legit
Taylor and I can say.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure everyone had their own unique process.
Yeah, we want to get the directors, DOPs, actors back, get a really good group in to talk about the project. But you're not releasing it for a little while. We'll talk about that for a sec, since we're wrapping up, getting towards the end.
So I think we have ambitions.
Yeah.
We want to see how far we can take this.
Yeah.
You will get the opportunity to see it at the Griffiths Screen Society screening,
Which will definitely be plugged with this episode.
Yeah.
Which will be happening July 22nd, I believe is the date.
Oh, they've got a date. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Sweet.
New Farm Cinemas. You'll be seeing the horror anthology and the mask anthology and the Ancient Fun series. I was so happy to see all the screenings on Friday. Because I guess I was so stuck in my world of like Ain't It Fun and getting this series. It was like, here's what everyone else was working on. I was so impressed with everyone. I was shocked at the amount of 4x3. And I was,
Oh my god.
I was like, that was a lot of choices for everyone.
Our cohort loves 4x3.
There was someone that didn't use 4x3 that I was shocked.
I love
If he's listening, not that I don't think he does, but
I know.
you know who you are.
Send
you
it
know,
to him.
you know who you
It's
are.
not a bad thing, but like,
I talked to him about
where
it.
was the 4x3, man? What happened?
Anyway.
Why wasn't you wasn't 4x3, Bryce?
Because I hate that.
Why do you hate 4x3?
I'm the producer.
It wasn't his. It was my choice.
No, it was
Are we
your
going
also
on
don't
a
like
4x3?
4x3.
Are we really going to go on a 4x3 rant right now?
Let's
No,
hear
we're
it.
not, because we're wrapping up the show.
Because
So
we're going to start to plug the Instagram.
thank you so much for joining us today. Where can we find you on Instagram?
You can find us on ain'titfun.series.
Yeah.
You can also find me on seth.griff. You
I
can
think I'm
find.
Tayla Ring.
Am I Seth.griff?
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Okay, good that you know, because I don't know.
Yes, and just quickly, not that you guys would have any idea because you spent 6 months working on this project, so you now get to rest, but the future is looming.
Oh,
The
come on.
future-
Here it is.
It's-
what holds. What's the future hold?
These
Wow.
characters have such great personalities, and they're so ripe for different stories that I'm not ready to let go of them yet.
Good.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
Very good tease.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect.
There's
There's more
very
to- there's more to come.
interesting
So,
themes.
For those who haven't seen Ain't It Fun yet, you can find it on July 22nd. There will be a screening organised by the Griffiths Screen Society. So
We get to meet Taylor and I! Yo!
you can meet them in person. They can do a signing
Crazy!
or something.
You can meet us, I guess.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Mm.
And it will probably be out hopefully later this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're thinking, we want to.
We'll see how it goes. We'll see how
Released somewhere for the wider public, and if
Yeah.
you follow
Yeah.
ain'titfun.series on Instagram, you'll hear everything in terms of that latest news. Follow GSS on Instagram as well to hear about the screening. Follow the Film School Chronicle because we make this lovely podcast.
Follow the
And-
Hunter's Knell on Instagram if you want to.
I think that's everything we had to talk about, and yeah.
Thank you so much for
Thank
coming on.
you so
I've been
much.
looking forward to this for
Thank
months.
you so
We've been
much.
looking for this for a while. It's been
Yeah.
great.
It's been
Didn't
awesome.
realize it'd be 45 minutes long, but
We
I'm
did say
happy.
we were gonna go. I did
Yeah.
warn you.
I
did warn
reckon
you.
I loved it. I loved
2
it.
episodes, part 1 and 2. Let's.
Ain't It Fun Part 1. That's what we call the episode.
Yeah. Oh,
Nice.
Nice.
part
No,
2.
just ain't it fun? It wasn't fun.
Ain't it fun? Ain't it funnier?
They kept talking. It really wasn't
Too
fun.
too fun.
Alright. This has been the Film School Chronicle. Thank you so much for joining us for this very long, very special episode. And until next time, thanks for listening.